Top 10 Dark Nostradamus Predictions of 2025. Predictions for 2025. A shadow of global unrest looms over 2025, as foretold by Nostradamus. From the silent rise of new powers in forgotten corners of the world to the return of catastrophic natural events, his chilling visions feel eerily relevant today. This year, old alliances may fracture, hidden rulers may emerge, and the fragile balance of our modern world could be tested like never before. Before we unravel these 10 dark predictions for 2025, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom. It's a simple way to help us continue exploring life's deeper mysteries together. Now, let's begin this intriguing journey. Number 1. The Rise of an Empire from the Depths. This prediction from Nostradamus is one of the most intriguing and unsettling among his visions for the year 2025. When he wrote of a ruler rising from the depths, many wonder what exactly he foresaw. While on the surface it might sound like a fanciful tale of a sea king or mythical creature, the true weight of these words suggests a far more complex and pressing reality for our modern world. The idea of an empire from the sea resonates on multiple levels. One interpretation links this to the rising concerns of climate change and the very real threat of escalating sea levels, which could submerge coastal cities and force millions to relocate, shifting the balance of global power. Yet there is another layer to this prophecy, one that taps into a growing undercurrent of modern anxiety, the unknown forces beneath our oceans. Recent reports of unidentified drones, like the startling instance of 50 drones spotted off the coast of New Jersey, raise questions about advanced technologies operating unseen in our waters. Could this be a modern echo of Nostradamus's vision? Perhaps the empire refers not to a traditional political power, but to a hidden civilization or a new form of intelligence emerging from the deep, one we have yet to fully comprehend or even acknowledge. As our technology improves, our understanding of the ocean remains astonishingly limited. Over 80% of the world's oceans remain unexplored. This vast, dark frontier could easily harbor mysteries beyond our imagination. The increasing frequency of UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena, and USO, unidentified submersible objects, sightings only deepens the intrigue. Is it possible that what we once dismissed as folklore might soon become a tangible reality? Some researchers even speculate that extraterrestrial beings could be using the oceans as a sanctuary, shielded from human detection for millennia. The notion of ancient, intelligent life stirring beneath the waves might sound like science fiction, but history reminds us that truth often outpaces our imaginations. As this potential new empire emerges, whether through environmental upheaval or contact with unknown forces, humanity must be prepared not just with technology, such as the hypothetical development of giant mechanized defenses, but with wisdom, unity, and respect for the unknown. In this fast-evolving world, it is crucial that we remain grounded in mindfulness and compassion, even as we face the uncertainties of the future. The teachings of balancing good, avoiding harm become ever more relevant when the fabric of our reality is tested. Let us approach these possibilities with curiosity and caution, rather than fear and aggression. Whether Nostradamus's vision comes to pass in the form of rising waters, advanced technology, or ancient forces from the deep, one thing is certain: we must face the future together, with open hearts and clear minds, guided by the timeless wisdom of awareness and compassion. Number 2. A deadly plague in Europe. Let's explore one of the most unsettling predictions Nostradamus made for the year 2025, the terrifying prospect of a deadly plague sweeping across Europe. In his cryptic yet haunting writings, he foresees not just an ordinary disease, but one that could potentially dwarf the global pandemic we all lived through in 2020. Have we truly learned the lessons of the past, or are we standing on the brink of an even greater crisis? This is a question that each of us must consider carefully. According to some interpretations of his verses, this might not be a brand new illness, but rather the terrifying resurgence of an ancient, highly lethal plague. Imagine the horror of a virus that once devastated entire populations returning with even greater force, perhaps with mutations that render our modern treatments ineffective. Others interpret his words as a warning of an entirely new pathogen, something far more contagious and deadly than any disease we've yet encountered. It's not just the words of Nostradamus fueling these fears. The renowned Bulgarian mystic, Baba Vanga, also foresaw a time of great turmoil in Europe, marked by widespread conflict and disease. When prophecies from different sources seem to echo one another, it naturally stirs both curiosity and caution. Reflect for a moment. How swiftly our world changed in 2020. Borders closed, cities emptied, economies faltered, and lives were lost on an unimaginable scale. Now, consider this. Have we built a world resilient enough to withstand another blow of this magnitude, or even greater? In today's climate of ongoing wars, deep social unrest, and the relentless march of climate change, the stage is, unfortunately, set for such a crisis to unfold more rapidly and chaotically than ever before. A new outbreak could disrupt fragile healthcare systems, destabilize societies, and deepen the divisions already present across nations. But amidst this shadowy forecast lies an important call to action. Nostradamus's warning, rather than meant to instill fear, serves as a powerful reminder of the need for global vigilance and preparedness. Are we investing enough in scientific research and healthcare infrastructure? Are our international alliances strong enough to foster swift and cooperative responses to emerging threats? These are questions that we, as a global community, cannot afford to ignore. To those listening now, take this lesson to heart. History has shown us that complacency can be deadly. Let us instead choose to act with wisdom and foresight. Strengthen our bonds with one another, support advancements in medical science, and cultivate a spirit of compassion and cooperation. In the end, while we cannot control the future, we can prepare for it with courage, with knowledge, and with a commitment to doing good in the face of adversity. So, I ask you, what steps will you take today to help build a safer, more resilient tomorrow? Number 3. Environmental catastrophes in Brazil. My friend, I invite you to listen closely, not out of fear, but out of awareness and compassion for our shared world. Among the many predictions attributed to Nostradamus for the year 2025, one casts a particularly dark shadow over the land known as the Garden of the World, Brazil. His cryptic words speak of a nation gripped by natural disasters and environmental collapse, a vision that resonates deeply with the challenges we see unfolding today. He mentions catastrophic flooding, volcanic disturbances, and widespread contamination of the country's precious water sources. Now, you might be wondering, Brazil and volcanoes. While it's true that Brazil itself lacks significant volcanic activity, the Earth is a vast and interconnected system. Seismic instability in nearby regions such as Chile or Peru could spark unforeseen geological events that send ripples across Brazil's fragile environment. But even beyond these dramatic scenarios, a more immediate and tangible danger is already unfolding, a crisis we can witness with our own eyes if we choose to look. Rampant deforestation of the Amazon, often called the lungs of our planet, continues at an alarming pace. Ancient trees, home to countless species and vital to balancing our climate, are falling in the name of short-term gain. And as these natural guardians disappear, the effects of climate change grow stronger. In recent years, Brazil has faced increasingly extreme weather-fierce storms, prolonged droughts, and most troubling of all, devastating floods. These floods don't just displace communities or damage infrastructure, they erode the spirit of those affected, forcing families to rebuild their lives again and again. And with every such event, the cycle of suffering deepens. Yet another shadow looms: the crisis of water pollution. Rivers that once ran clear now carry the toxins of industrial waste, oil spills, and the remnants of destroyed ecosystems. Drinking water, once abundant and pure, is becoming scarce and unsafe in many regions, threatening not just human life, but the intricate web of biodiversity that depends on it. As the Dhammapada teaches, the careless one, though he lives 100 years, is not worth one day of the wise who is mindful. Are we, as a global community, being mindful of how we treat the earth, or are we drifting carelessly toward irreversible harm? Now, here is where the heart of the prophecy truly lies, not merely in fearsome visions of natural disasters, but in its call to awaken our collective responsibility. Nostradamus's words are both a warning and an invitation, a chance to reflect on how our choices today shape the world of tomorrow. The environmental challenges facing Brazil mirror a larger global pattern. We are all connected, just as the Buddha taught. All things arise in dependence upon other things. The fate of one rainforest, one river, one community echoes across continents and through generations. So, dear listener, I ask you, what role do you wish to play in this unfolding story? How can we, as individuals and as a collective, choose compassion and wisdom over neglect and greed? The future is not set in stone. As we move forward, let us remember that the seeds of both destruction and renewal lie within our hands. And as you ponder this, I invite you to carry this reflection in your heart as we continue our journey through the prophecies yet to come. If you've watched this far, you're already diving deep into the mysteries of what 2025 may hold. Comment below with 2025 to affirm your curiosity and readiness to explore the unknown. Don't go anywhere, there are still powerful predictions ahead that you won't want to miss. Stay until the end to uncover what might shape our future. Number 4. The escalation of global natural disasters. In the cryptic verses of Nostradamus, a chilling vision unfolds: a world first scorched by unrelenting drought, then drowned beneath catastrophic floods. Once dismissed as mere ancient prophecy, this stark imagery now mirrors the turbulent reality of our time. Across the globe, nature's fury seems unleashed with growing intensity. Recent years have seen a disturbing surge in extreme weather events. Hurricanes with unprecedented force such as Beryl, Milton, and Helen have carved paths of destruction across continents, while floods of historic magnitude have devastated nations like Afghanistan and Pakistan. Simultaneously, vast stretches of land lie barren under relentless drought, crippling agriculture and threatening food security. It is as though the earth itself is crying out, its balance disturbed by human actions. Nostradamus's grim foresight now reads less like mysticism and more like a dire reflection of climate science, which warns that rising global temperatures are destabilizing weather patterns, magnifying the frequency and severity of natural disasters. Yet, amid these forebodings lies a deeper call, a choice that humanity must face with clarity and compassion. Buddhist wisdom reminds us, if you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path. In other words, collective action not only safeguards the planet but also nurtures our shared future. We must heed these warnings not with fear but with mindful resolve. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions, protecting fragile ecosystems, fostering sustainable communities, these are no longer optional ideals but urgent necessities. Moreover, as these calamities test our resilience, they also remind us of the profound interconnection between all beings. As the Dalai Lama teaches, our prime purpose in this life is to help others, and if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. In the context of climate change, this wisdom implores us to act with responsibility and compassion for the sake of all life on Earth. In our modern lives, where convenience often overshadows consequence, we must cultivate mindfulness in every choice, from the energy we consume to the products we purchase. Let us not be passive witnesses to a future foretold in shadows. Rather, let us become the light that guides a new path forward. The escalating wrath of nature is not just a harbinger of doom, but a profound invitation to awaken, to harmonize with the world rather than exploit it. The time to act is now, not out of fear of prophecy, but out of love for life itself. Number 5. The threat of a potential asteroid impact. Let's turn our attention to the fifth chilling prophecy on our list of top 10 dark Nostradamus predictions for 2025, the threat of a potential asteroid impact. In his cryptic writings, Nostradamus spoke of a fireball rising from the cosmos, an image that stirs the imagination and fuels concern. Many scholars and enthusiasts interpret this eerie vision as a warning about a possible asteroid striking Earth. Now, you might wonder, is this really something we should worry about? The answer, perhaps unsettlingly, is yes. Each year, hundreds of near-Earth asteroids pass relatively close to our planet. The vast majority pose no immediate danger, but the universe is a dynamic place, and space rocks ranging from small boulders to massive mountains silently travel through the void, sometimes crossing Earth's path. Scientists remain vigilant. Organizations like NASA and their counterparts around the world constantly scan the heavens, tracking the orbits of these celestial visitors with incredible precision. This ongoing watchfulness is one of our greatest tools. Thanks to this careful monitoring, we can often detect a potential threat long before it draws near, giving us valuable time to respond. But here's the sobering truth. Despite all our advancements, humanity's planetary defense system is still in its infancy. Imagine for a moment that a previously unknown asteroid suddenly veered onto a collision course with Earth. Would we be ready? Currently, experimental technologies such as missions designed to alter an asteroid's trajectory are being tested, an encouraging sign of progress. Yet, the reality is that we do not yet have a guaranteed method to deflect or destroy a large incoming object. This is where Nostradamus's warning resonates deeply. His vision serves not merely as a frightening prophecy, but as a powerful reminder of our planet's vulnerability in the vast expanse of space. It calls upon us to take action, to support continued investment in space observation and planetary defense research. After all, protecting Earth from cosmic threats is not a task for future generations. It is a responsibility that belongs to us, here and now. As you reflect on this, consider, what role can we, as individuals and as a global community, play in preparing for such possibilities? Asking these questions keeps us aware and motivated. And while it is easy to feel powerless in the face of cosmic forces, history shows that human ingenuity and cooperation can overcome even the most daunting challenges. So, what is the lesson we can draw from this dark prediction? It is this: awareness breeds preparedness. We must respect the forces of nature and invest in knowledge and technology that help us safeguard the only home we have. By doing so, we honor not just the warnings of the past, but the hopes of the future. Number 6. Rising conflicts among global powers. Now, my friend, let's pause and truly reflect on this chilling vision from Nostradamus. He spoke of a time when the great nations of the world would find themselves locked in rising tensions and dangerous power struggles, a time that seems to echo through our headlines today. Can you feel the weight of that warning? Across the globe, we are witnessing a geopolitical landscape fraught with uncertainty and competition. Consider the complex relationship between the United States and China. Their rivalry stretches beyond trade disputes and into realms of advanced technology, military presence, and even cultural influence. It is a competition not just for economic dominance, but for the very blueprint of future global leadership. Now ask yourself, how often do these rivalries evolve into something far more dangerous when left unchecked? As we observe this, we must also turn our eyes to Eastern Europe, where the tragic conflict continues to unfold. The war has shattered lives and communities, and in its wake, it sends ripples of instability across the world. Could such regional conflicts, if allowed to escalate, ignite broader confrontations among the major powers? Nostradamus's words seem to caution us that this is not only possible but perhaps already underway. And then there is the Middle East, a region that has long stood at the crossroads of military struggle and ideological division. Here, proxy wars and long-standing hostilities keep the region in a state of constant tension. Major world powers, driven by their own strategic interests, are inevitably drawn into these conflicts. Do we recognize the risks this poses, not only for the region itself, but for the fragile balance of global peace? Through this prophecy, Nostradamus offers not just a grim prediction but also a profound lesson. He reminds us that beneath the surface of modern diplomacy lies a volatile mix of mistrust, ambition, and unresolved grievances. The warning is clear. Such forces, if allowed to fester, can lead us down the path of open conflict. So, how can we as a global community respond to this? What role does each nation and indeed each individual play in fostering understanding rather than division? Nostradamus's vision challenges us to reflect deeply on these questions. As the years ahead unfold, the choices made by world leaders will shape whether these dire outcomes become our reality. But the responsibility does not lie with leaders alone. It lies with us all, in how we advocate for peace, dialogue, and cooperation in our own spheres of influence. So, as you listen today, I invite you to consider this. In a world teetering on the edge of greater conflict, how will you contribute to a future of understanding and unity? Let us take this ancient warning not as a sentence of doom, but as a call to awaken our collective wisdom. If you've made it this far, you're already among those seeking to understand the shadows of tomorrow. Comment below with "Unlock the Future" to show you're ready to face what lies ahead. Stay with us. Some of the most astonishing predictions are yet to come. The future is unfolding. Will you be ready? Number 7. The decline of Western influence. One of the more striking predictions Nostradamus made was about a future where the long-standing dominance of Western nations would gradually fade, making way for new global powers to emerge. As we step into 2025, this prophecy resonates with what we see unfolding around us. The world is shifting from a familiar structure where a few Western countries, most notably the United States and key European nations, held the lion's share of global influence, to a more complex and interconnected international landscape. Today, nations like China and India are not only growing rapidly in economic terms, but are also expanding their cultural, technological, and geopolitical influence in ways that command attention. Their increasing presence in global decision-making forums, trade networks, and diplomatic circles is steadily reshaping the rules of engagement on the world stage. This evolution towards a multipolar world means that leadership and innovation are no longer the exclusive domains of Western powers. Instead, they are being redefined and diversified by emerging economies with their own unique histories, values, and aspirations. Meanwhile, the Western world faces its own set of challenges that compound this shift. Political polarization, economic uncertainties, and evolving alliances have begun to erode the once unshakable authority of the West. While it still possesses significant resources and soft power, the nature of that influence is changing, becoming more contested and subject to negotiation. This transition is not necessarily a sign of decline, but an invitation to adapt and collaborate in new ways. The landscape of international relations is becoming less about dominance and more about balance, dialogue, and shared responsibilities. As Nostradamus foresaw, we are living through a period of profound global transformation. What lies ahead depends greatly on how nations choose to navigate this evolving dynamic. The opportunities for mutual growth and understanding are immense, yet so too are the risks of misunderstanding and conflict if old habits of distrust prevail. For each of us living in this era of change, there is both a lesson and a responsibility. In our personal and professional lives, cultivating an openness to new perspectives and fostering a spirit of cooperation across cultural and national boundaries can contribute to a more stable and inclusive world. On a larger scale, supporting policies and leaders who prioritize global cooperation over division can help guide this transition toward a future marked by shared prosperity rather than zero-sum competition. As the currents of power shift, it is wise to remember that change is inevitable, but the outcome is not predetermined. Through mindful choices and compassionate leadership, both at the global level and in our daily interactions, we can influence whether this new chapter in world history becomes a story of harmony or one of discord. Let us embrace the wisdom of adaptability and cooperation as we move through these uncertain yet promising times. Number 8. Breakthroughs in medical science. Let's take a deeper look into the 8th prediction on our journey through Nostradamus's visions for 2025, and this one, thankfully, is filled with hope. While many of his prophecies speak of challenges and unrest, Nostradamus also saw light in the darkness, moments where human brilliance would shine through. One such area is in medical science, where major breakthroughs are beginning to take shape in ways that could truly transform our lives. He foresaw not just scientific progress, but healing, not just longer life, but better life. Let's think about this. What if medicine in 2025 no longer relied on one-size-fits-all treatments, but instead offered care as unique as your own DNA? This is the heart of personalized medicine, a powerful concept where doctors can tailor treatments based on your specific genetic code. Imagine the difference this could make: less trial and error, fewer side effects, and more effective healing. This shift is already happening, and it may completely change how we approach everything from cancer therapies to managing chronic conditions. Alongside this, artificial intelligence is stepping forward as a true partner in care. AI isn't some distant science fiction anymore. It's already helping doctors interpret complex scans, predict disease risks, and even uncover patterns in medical data that the human eye might miss. What possibilities open up when a computer can help detect cancer before symptoms even appear, or alert us to an outbreak before it spreads? How do we feel about living in a time when machines can not only support, but potentially save lives? And yet, perhaps the most emotionally powerful vision in this prophecy lies in the battle against diseases that have long felt untouchable, conditions like Alzheimer's that quietly steal our memories, our stories, our sense of self. But now, researchers are decoding the human brain in ways we never thought possible. New treatments and cutting-edge technologies are offering the first real glimmers of hope in slowing or even reversing these conditions. For families and caregivers, this isn't just science. This is a breath of relief, a second chance at connection, a future where decline isn't inevitable. Nostradamus may not have known the precise science behind these advancements, but he recognized a shift, a surge of human effort and intellect rising up in the face of suffering. Could it be that in a world filled with fear and tension, our greatest strength is still our capacity to heal? As you reflect on this prediction, ask yourself, how do we honor the gift of progress? What role can each of us play in supporting a future where health isn't a privilege, but a shared promise? Maybe it's through learning more about our own health, supporting research, or simply spreading awareness and compassion. The deeper lesson here is clear. Even in times of uncertainty, the human spirit is capable of incredible things. With curiosity, compassion, and courage, we are not just waiting for miracles, we are creating them. Let this remind us that the future, even one written centuries ago, can be shaped by our choices today. Let us stay hopeful, stay informed, and most importantly, stay connected to one another. Number 9. Global famine triggered by a pestiferous wave. Now, let's turn to the chilling prophecy that holds the 9th spot on our list. A global famine triggered by what Nostradamus described as a pestiferous wave. You might be wondering, what exactly did he mean by that? Many scholars and modern interpreters believe this phrase points to a deadly combination of widespread disease and natural disasters, a force so powerful it could sweep across nations, leaving behind crippled agricultural systems and widespread hunger. And when you think about it, this warning feels all too plausible in today's world. Just take a moment to reflect on the past few years. Didn't we see how a single pandemic brought global supply chains to their knees and strained the very systems that bring food to our tables? Now imagine adding more layers of crisis: devastating floods, relentless droughts, raging wildfires, and catastrophic hurricanes. Each of these disasters, on their own, already puts enormous pressure on food production, but together they could easily shatter the fragile balance that keeps the world's food supply stable. As you listen, consider this. How often do we take the stability of our food sources for granted? Yet, beneath the surface, agricultural lands are already being pushed to their limits. Climate change is altering rainfall patterns, depleting water resources, and degrading precious soil. Crops that once thrived in certain regions now struggle to survive, while farmers face mounting challenges just to maintain yields. And it doesn't stop there. Think about the potential impact of diseases that don't just affect people, but also target crops and livestock. A single outbreak could decimate staple food sources, pushing entire communities toward the brink of starvation. But here's another unsettling layer: the rise of environmental warfare. In today's conflicts, some forces resort to weaponizing the environment itself, poisoning water supplies, destroying fertile lands, or using toxic agents to create long-term ecological damage. The resulting devastation could make famine not just an accidental consequence of war, but an intentional weapon against vulnerable populations. Now, ask yourself, how prepared are we really to face such compounded threats? Nostradamus's warning isn't just an eerie vision of the future, it's a wake-up call urging us to act. If we hope to shield ourselves from the catastrophic effects of this so-called pestiferous wave, we must prioritize food security like never before. That means investing in sustainable, resilient agricultural practices, protecting our environment, and strengthening global cooperation to ensure that even in times of crisis, no one goes hungry. As we move forward, it's worth pondering, what role can each of us play in fostering a more secure and compassionate world in the face of such daunting predictions? Number 10. The resolution of a prolonged conflict. Among the many ominous visions Nostradamus recorded for the years ahead, one particular prophecy for 2025 stands out as a rare beacon of hopier vision that hints at the long-awaited resolution of a protracted and deeply rooted conflict. In his cryptic verses, Nostradamus foresaw a moment when exhausted armies, drained not only of their fighting spirit, but also of the economic means to sustain warfare, would be compelled to seek new paths toward peace. As traditional currencies, such as gold and silver, would lose their practical value amidst the chaos, societies would turn to alternative forms of exchange leather coins and what he termed Gallic brass, a powerful metaphor for the desperation and ingenuity that often arise when old systems collapse. This imagery speaks volumes about the shifting nature of global finance during times of upheaval, reminding us that even the structures we trust most can change overnight when the tides of history turn. Nostradamus also made a telling reference to the crescent moon, a symbol closely tied to the Middle East, suggesting that this hopeful shift could emerge from one of the world's most enduring and heartbreaking regions of conflict. Today, as we witness ongoing diplomatic talks, fragile ceasefires, and courageous peace efforts in various Middle Eastern nations, the prophecy feels eerily resonant. It encourages us to consider how modern tools of dialogue, international cooperation, and grassroots movements might finally achieve what generations of armed struggle could not. Yet the path to such peace is neither easy nor without sacrifice. As history shows us time and again, reconciliation demands humility, understanding, and a willingness to forge entirely new ways of living together. For those of us observing these unfolding events from afar, there is a profound lesson here. Even in moments of greatest darkness, the seeds of transformation quietly take root. In our own lives too, conflicts, whether personal, communal, or global, can seem insurmountable until a shift in perspective or a bold act of compassion begins to unravel the knots of enmity. As we navigate an increasingly complex and uncertain world in 2025, Nostradamus's vision urges us not to lose faith in the power of human resilience and reconciliation. Let us be reminded that peace is not simply the absence of war, but the presence of understanding and cooperation. And perhaps by nurturing these qualities within ourselves and encouraging them in our communities, we can help bring about the very future that this centuries-old prophecy dared to imagine. And so, my friend, as we reflect on these 10 dark predictions for 2025, let us remember, the future is not set in stone. While the prophecies of Nostradamus may stir both curiosity and caution, they also remind us of the power we hold through awareness, compassion, and wise action to shape what lies ahead. If you found this journey insightful, I warmly invite you to like, share, and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming explorations into life's deeper mysteries. Together, let's continue walking the path of understanding and mindfulness. Until next time, stay wise, stay kind, and stay curious.